Welcome to T-Boys TV. We are here to do a match preview, obviously to Luton versus Blackburn. Obviously a bit of a potential opportunity for me, obviously behind the YouTube live today. Me and Jamie, so yeah, it's a bit of a mad one when it comes to doing the hat show, both of us. But we made sure we could still come together and sort something out today. But yeah, first of all, Dad, before we get into anything, how have you been?
Yeah, all good, mate. Enjoying the nice weather.
Yeah, absolutely. Great weather. If you're in the UK, it's very rare it's like this. And out in shorts and t-shirts, so that's always great. But yeah, a few things we're going to talk about as much as the preview. The first thing we'll talk about is Luton. Obviously, it's the 140th birthday. Now, obviously, this football club, the best moment, of course, for us, that will obviously be, the playoff final. To get there, after the journey to get to the Premier League finally, we felt at the time it was going to happen. Maybe not as quickly as it did, but obviously it did happen in the end. And Luton put a little post out on Twitter, obviously talking about it. And they said, and they asked the fans' favourite goal of all time. Now, obviously, there's loads up there because we're talking all time. But, I mean, you've obviously, watched more than me, Dad. You've seen a lot more than me. Any standout ones other than the obvious ones? Jordan Clark at Wembley?
A few when we played Liverpool in the Cup, 2005.
Was that when we went 3-1 and then they come back? Yeah,
that's decent. Berkovic, he used to score some bangers. He scored a wicked over kick. Keith Keane scored directly from the corner against Oxford. Nakper's goal in the St Johnson's Trophy extra time final. Obviously Clark's goal as well. Wembley, a few of Clark's goals actually. Just them ones mainly memory. They're obviously on the spot and that, but yeah, there's obviously more from like the 90s and stuff.
Yeah.
I think Springy scored a banger against Watford before. So yeah, all good. Very obviously moments. 2009, and got the 30-point deduction, but still won the trophy. That was brilliant. Obviously Wembley. Obviously beating Arsenal when I was young. And the season after, a bit disappointing, but I got to the cup final again. Promotion back to the league that season. 27 games unbeaten, and the little rap that
Matt Robinson
done. So yeah, they're more recent ones, but 3-2 win against I think it was West Ham in the FA Cup in like 1994. Scott scored a hat trick. The Portsmouth game. There's quite a few really, but yeah, come on.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and hopefully tomorrow can put a good stamp on that on the birthday weekend for Luton. But yeah, obviously we'll talk about that now, and we'll obviously go into it now. It's obviously come out in Matt Bloomfield's presser today. I doubt he is going to be out for the season. Now, what I will say is it's always a risk when you play someone who, was a bit wary, obviously, from the Leeds game. Then we obviously started him against Stoke. Obviously, him and Elijah, there was always going to be, probably one of them was going to start, and you felt it would be Doughty because he seemed more available to play, whereas Elijah, when he was coming off against Leeds, just looked like he was struggling, basically. Essentially like the times when the year we got the playoffs and we didn't win. That's sort of how it was for him there, where he was just struggling to walk and stuff. But yeah, obviously Doughty did play in that game. Obviously didn't manage to play too long in the game, and he is going to be out. And obviously Ali come on for him and obviously scored that goal to get a point out of that game. And I look at it and I think to myself, keep him there, as that wing back. And obviously, he can play as a striker as well. Bloomfield has experimented it. The last time he did was Hull, but it didn't quite work. But I do think it's Ali's time to shine now. It really is, and it's a good opportunity that he can grab and try and capitalise on that, I feel, as a wing back. And I know you're the same on that, Dad.
Yeah, I think so, but the problem we obviously got is Elijah's out for the rest of the season as well. So, we've been playing two strikers. I don't really feel like we can go with one striker for the rest of the season at all. So that's where the conundrum's going to come. Do you put him up front? Do you put Chong on the left? People might, but Chong up front doesn't work, so we know that. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. I mean, can Jones play on the left? You could put Bowler on the right. It's tough decisions to make. It's a bit awkward, but primarily, Ali come on and just started. He hit the ground running. I've seen some people like saying, "No, he won't all that when he first." He did. For me, he made an impact. And he just got better and better and better. Um, um, so yeah, he probably will start there. But then up front, then you're going to go with what Nordas. You've got no Brown, no Woodrow. So, probably won't play him anyway. But yeah, I don't know about that. Because Morris ain't no chance to be able to do it on his own. Absolutely no chance at all. Um, yeah, could put Jones up front.
Yeah,
and put Boulder on the right, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's a shame that they're out for the rest of the season. Even though you could say that Elijah didn't contribute much, but I think he was just kind of
getting
there a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It's a shame. Doughty, gutting. That could be his last game for us. You never know. But Ali, he can play in that position. We'll have to see what happens. It's a shame. We've got, and this has fucked us up in the past, but hopefully, the players that come on to do the business actually do the business, and they're not going to be youngsters like they were before. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well just get into it now. When it comes to predicted 11 for the game, now personally, what I'd go with, so Kaminsky in goal, I'd stick with a 3-5-2. I'd go Kaminsky in goal. Obviously, I would, put Naismith on that left side, but I don't think it's going to happen. Bell against his former club as well.
I think Bell has been getting a little bit better.
Yeah, it's just them moments in games where he passes it sometimes. I think defensively he's been better in the last couple of weeks. It's just sometimes he does like one pass in the game and he gives it away, and then the team have an opportunity. I mean, he done it against Leeds, but they did redeem it. Well, sorry, he redeemed himself. But yeah, I reckon it'll be Bell. McGuinness in the middle, of course. He's done really well last couple of weeks. And then I think we will stick with Makoto. Obviously, he did come off, but I think that was just manage him sort of thing. Bring Burke on. That's obviously what we did, and I could see us doing that again. I think on the left we do go Ali. Personally, I think we stick with him there, and even in the Leeds game, and I said it at the time, I thought defensively he done well, considering that's not really his game. We've seen that he can do that. Maybe he can't do it for repetitive cycle of games, but for now, I think we should stick with it. Definitely deserves to play, whether that's up front or on the left. On the right, I would say probably Jones. I think we'll stick with Jones.
I think that as well, because he actually works hard defensively as well, and he's quite good, isn't he?
And you look at Hashioka, he was meant to be back for Leeds, I think it was. They said he was back, but then he weren't even on the bench. Real Walters is not favoured, so I can only really see it being Jones. And then the midfield will be the same. But talking on the midfield, they have said Nakamba is available, but he hasn't trained much. He trained this morning, as we're recording, obviously on Friday, but he's he won't be in the lineup anyway. Well, starting, so that three in midfield has been good. Walsh has had an interview as well with the club, so usually when that happens, they start. Obviously, Burke did against Hull, he started. And obviously, McGuinness had one against Cardiff, he started as well. But it could be a bit of a redemption arc for Walsh. Hopefully it is. Obviously, did get a red card in the last game against them, obviously, as we know. And hopefully for him, especially if his performance is much improving since, he can, make a mark again. Then you're going to go Clark, who's been one of our most consistent players throughout the season, especially under Bloomfield anyway. And then obviously on the other side, you have Asgard sort of in that three, who wins a lot of fouls. Does remind me of Chong in ways, to be fair, like in the sense of winning a lot of free kicks, driving forward at players. And then the two up front for me, he'll stick with Morris probably, and I think he'll go with Nordas. Now, we saw Nordas have a bit of a glimpse. I think he looked better the other night, to be fair. The only time before that I think he's been all right when he's come on was when him and Brown worked well against Plymouth at home. But since then, he's come on. He's not really done too much. But the other game, he had a few opportunities. He was getting more stuck in. So that's what I think we'll go with personally. And then obviously you've got Bowler to come on, who I thought personally was not bad when he come on the other day. I thought he was quite influential. A lot of people didn't agree, but I thought personally he was. Similar to the Cardiff away game for me. And then you look elsewhere. Might have Nelson on the bench and things like that. But the striking department is a bit worrying with Elijah being out. Whether you think he's been good throughout the season or not, which obviously we don't think he has. But last couple of games he was all right. Hull he was unlucky.
And the partnership between him and Morris was still there. Do you know what I mean? Flick-ons and stuff like that. I mean, he did try Nelson up front in
Burnley, but obviously it didn't work. Naismith did.
Yeah, but he could do that again. We know Nelson's naturally, I believe, he is a striker.
Mm.
So I mean, you're gonna have to change. I think obviously Chong didn't work. You might have to just change. Bowler. He's technically, do you know what I mean? And you're gonna have to ask the other midfielders to push on and take these pot shots and contribute in that way, because we're going to need it. Because Morris on his own, it's not going to work, man.
No.
And it is worrying. So yeah, probably Nordas, because he's tall, awkward. And he's just going to have to crack on, but we'll see. He has got that communication with Asgard as well. Asgard does look for him quite a lot for the through balls and stuff, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, no, I agree. And yeah, I look at this and I think it's a good opportunity to beat Blackburn. I'll be honest. Going into it, they're in the worst form currently. Obviously their manager still hasn't got a win as well since he's come in. And I also think, well, our record's very good at Kenilworth Road. And to be fair, historically, whether we've obviously we haven't been good this season, but when we play certain teams that we have good records against, like this record's incredible. We've never lost to them in the league, but other records have been decent, and it's remained. So hopefully this can be the case as well, and I think it's like I said the other day in my match reaction. I think of a lot of memorable games against Blackburn over the years. We think of that time, Dad, we were struggling at home. We beat them 2-0. That was actually the last time we played them at Kenilworth Road when Reece Burke scored that spectacular goal from outside the box. You also look at the season we stayed up. This is another one of them type of games. Obviously, that was last game, but this is towards the end. We beat them 3-2, forced them into 2 own goals. So, you look at them, and we do have them memorable games. Obviously, we've had memorable games at their ground. Not quite the one this year, obviously, but a couple of years ago, 2-2, and things like that. So, yeah, I do think it's a good opportunity. Obviously Woodrow's there. He's not really getting a sniff. He's coming on a few times in games, but from what I've seen from Blackburn fans, they're sort of saying what we're saying. Really, he's not really making an impact. So obviously it's a loan, but we won't be looking to keep him on going forward, wherever we are next year. But yeah, it's one of them where you would think it's a good opportunity, wouldn't you, Dad? 5 unbeaten as well from us.
Yeah, there's that. History never beats Kenilworth Road in the league. I've looked at their last, few lineups, and he chops and changes. He doesn't know his best team. Mowbray, is it Mowbray?
No, it's Ishmael. You're thinking of West Brom.
Yeah. He used to be, but he doesn't know his. I've seen him put Woodrow in midfield. He's changed his formation. He hasn't got it settled. Don't really. And we'll be putting the pressure on, obviously. So yeah, we should get a win, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously we got that vital game after against Derby at home. Derby away on Good Friday. And it's fairly quick turnaround because we got Coventry on the Monday, I believe it is. So it's that stage. But we are picking up points at the right time. 5 unbeaten. Realistically, we should probably be going into this with 3 wins instead of 2, beating Middlesbrough. But score predictions that, like I say, we're feeling confident, as we should with our form, with their form in recent games. Their chances of playoffs are very slim now. Even their fans are saying it. So, what are we thinking, Dad? Kaminsky and Bell against their former clubs.
Yeah. It just worries me about the striker situation. But I still think we'll sneak it. I'm going to go 1-0 Luton.
1-0 Luton. Well, Dad, on the same wavelength. I've gone 1-0 as well. I think it's going to be one end where we just grind it out. Throughout our time, at Kenilworth Road when we have beaten. Not too sure. I don't think we beat them 1-0 often, if ever. I'll be honest. We like a lot of 2-0s against them at home over the times. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 as well. Your goal scorer?
I don't know. I'll go Ali again.
Yeah, again, same wavelength. I'm going to go Ali again to make it 2 out of 2. Like I say, definitely warrants that start, whether it's on the the wing back, shall I say, or up front. But we shall see. So big up to everyone. Big up to yourself, Dad, as always. And yeah, guys, do let me know your thoughts on the game. Blackburn fan, Luton fan, or neutral. Do let me know everything. Score predictions, lineup predictions, all of that. Smash a like, subscribe, follow me across all my socials, subscribe to the extra channel. And yeah, this will come out before the Hat Show that I'm doing later with a Blackburn fan. So do check that out as well. Bit of a later one, like I say. So yeah, big up to everyone. Till next time, take care and peace.